Hello, welcome back to Out on the Line podcast. We have a very special episode for you tonight. We are going to be going through another Sturgill Simpson classic. This week it'll be Sound and Fury. But as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Alex. How you doing this week?
Well, Jeff, usually sound and fury is a descriptor for my farts, but tonight it's something far grander and far greater, not just in Sturgill Simpson's discography, but in our musical ecosystem that you and I have cultivated and in the music world itself. I am feeling glad and ultimately not that gassy. So it's a win for all involved tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Very excited to talk about this album finally, because this was another one that we just didn't get to on the podcast because it predated the podcast.
It did.
Yeah. And this was, if A Sailor's Guide to Earth was Sturgill telling people that he was going to be different, after the two, like, really, I don't want to say traditional country, but like very much like in the country genre. There, you can't really describe him any other way between High Top Mountain and Meta Modern Sounds. There was certainly still a country album for A Sailor's Guide to Earth, but Sound and Fury, it was funky. There was a lot of rock elements to it. Like the way that I realized what he's capable of, like it was great that he had the horns and everything like that in Sailor's Guide to Earth. And then I heard Sound and Fury, and this dude can just straight out rock. Like he can just put a really funky bass line together and he can just straight out rock. And again, like the songwriting has that classic Sturgill, like very tongue in cheek kind of vibe to it, very political. It seems like he's got on every album, he's talking about being a veteran, how that wasn't his favorite experience that he's ever had. Certainly not how he was treated while he was in there, and definitely not while he's been treated after that. So Sound and Fury was like a very specific kind of album where it really was the first big chance that he took, I think, in kind of what sound he was presenting, because this was certainly the biggest departure from country music that he'd made to that point.
Yeah, and to make a point, because when you get shut out of the country focused awards, but something like A Sailor's Guide to Earth has, multiple Grammy nominations, I would say his issues with the industry are with the broader industry, but I think especially within the country genre, to get no support from where he basically cut his teeth, show him you don't need him. You know what I mean? Like, you're not saying fuck you to country the genre or country fans. You obviously still love it, but there are these gatekeepers, these arbiters who are going to tell you what you're capable of and what you need to do to be successful. And he realizes what you need to do to be successful is to like do what's most interesting to you and be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes off and decides to make an electro rock album. He decides to sprinkle a little like boogie rock dusk in there, a little funk. Even has a companion anime film set to the sound to this as a soundtrack. Wild, trippy, outlandish fun. Lots of like hellish imagery and like slick kind of cyberpunk Akira kind of feel to it. He not only is like in such a departure from country, but from Sailor's Guide to Earth. Like if High Top Mountain was the genre calling card and Meta Modern was him getting a little more cosmic and reflective about it, and Sailor's Guide was dipping a toe into this kind of spacey psychedelic rock element to it, this just takes a hard, dirty left turn into something heavy, into something like acidic and witty and gritty. And it's Sturgill showing like how heavy he can be and doing it in like the simplest but most like fun and evocative lyrics that you can get. In many ways, like the tongue-in-cheek kind of cleverness of Mutiny After Midnight, which I'm staring at my copy across the way.
Mm-hmm.
That like protoplasm is floating around in this. Sound and Fury is both a very interesting pivot point in his sound that he has yet to like really double back to. but it also it laid the groundwork for the next thing. You do the cutting grass,
Yeah.
and then you do Dude and Juanita, and then you retire Sturgill Simpson, and you do Passage, and you do Mutiny After Mid. Like it's this like scatter plot of his music that he's done keeps him as like one of the most relevant and interesting musicians, constantly reinventing himself. And once again, no one ever fucking talks about him. He's never in the conversation. He's mainstream, but he's underground. I truly do not understand the phenomenon.
So I will say there has been good news about the Mutiny After Midnight album. Is it did land at number 3 on the Billboard 200.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Based on a physical release alone.
Yeah. So I think the estimates were it had to have sold at least 60,000 copies between the vinyl, the CD, and the cassette. So that's pretty fantastic.
Fucking A.
Yeah. And who knows how many people downloaded the YouTube version of it and made it. Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of people probably listening to this did the same thing. I knew I had the vinyl coming in, so I wasn't too worried about it. I could, if I want to record it onto my computer, I can. So it doesn't, I wasn't too bothered by that, but just really, took a big swing releasing that album on just vinyl, took a big swing releasing a companion anime with this one. It just really, and also contains one of my absolute favorite moments in music is in the song Sing Along. Like really, really great, almost like Pink Floyd-y kind of sound. The way that guitar just like drones through that riff is fantastic, especially in the chorus. When he says, well, I know that you're killing me, or well, I know that you're killing me, but it's worth it just to see you smile. Tell him to carve my name in the bar stool, baby. You know I'm gonna be here a while. And the way that it just like this weird like beat drops out, it's like boom, and then it goes back into that really just awesome funky riff. That is one of my all-time favorite moments in music. And every time I listen to it, like I anticipate that part and it delivers every time.
There are so many moments like that. Like, you'll hate this. Tanner will know what I'm talking about. But like Steely Dan was really great at creating these little kind of like treats. Warren Zevon was very good at that. Frank Zappa was very good at that. So it's like in the Steely Dan song "Don't Take Me Alive," I'm a bookkeeper's son. Just this tiny little guitar lick. And if you know, you know, and you can look across the way at Tanner and smile because you know it's coming. It's this whole beautiful language that you for some reason refuse to speak, but that's another conversation. So it's this is an album filled with like little musical treats that he throws out like that. I really like it. I really like that it's like the outlaw artist, like the culmination of the outlaw artist. It's not even like I'm doing outlaw country.
Mm-hmm.
It's I am an outlaw writ large. I have no time for the industry. I have no time for the traditional way that things are done. This is the thing that I'm going to do right now. And you just end up getting some of the more like fun, Sturgill moments and twists. And this is an album that makes you feel like you're walking around and your balls are too big for your pants. Oh my goodness. There is some like ZZ Top style boogie. There's some T-Rex kind of glam.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy over the top. You just stomp around like I have the biggest balls on the block and no one's going to tell me otherwise.
And so you have those, like there's some really just meaty riffs on this one, but I also love the fact that you're going to have songs like Mercury in Retrograde on there where it's got that really, what is the intro? Is that like a keyboard or something where it does that like melody line throughout the whole thing essentially?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, whatever instrument that is, the do like that sound is just so perfect. And it's just it adds like almost a levity to the song because the lyrics themselves are, where is it here? Mercury in Retrograde? So which did I even pull it up? Nope. Hold on.
Oh boy.
Stand by. Okay.
Oh shit.
So like the chorus of that one, Mercury must be in retrograde again, but at least it's not hanging around pretending to be my friend. Oh, the road to hell is paved with cruel intention. If it's not nuclear war, it's going to be a divine intervention. And that's the kind of thing where it's like you can have a lyric, like I mentioned earlier, you can carve my name on the bar stool, baby. You know I'm going to be here a while, which is like, it can, you could take from that whatever you want, but I think it's pretty basic in saying like, I'm making my stand here. Like I'm going to make the music I want to make is like what I took from that. And then he has the chorus where it's like, we talk about Sturgill being political, it's like he does it in this very like, I want to say like esoteric kind of way here, where he's not talking specifically about sitting in a tank in old Baghdad. He's not being that literal with what he's saying, but he's still using those same ideas and feelings to make this song. But because it's about Mercury and retrograde, and he's got to have this sort of cosmic vibe to this, he's leaving that a little bit more ambiguous, I guess, so to say.
Yeah, there are actually like quite a few little interesting moments like that where I would say on this album, more than most, probably up until Mutiny After Midnight, the vocals in the mix are kind of just another instrument, even though they're like delivering critical information in the form of the lyrics, which are like giving shape to all the themes. The voice really does become like truly another instrument in the mix, to the point where sometimes you can't really like make everything out at first listen, but it's giving you the vibe. But it's forcing you to listen closer. And there is kind of a delightful, like, I can't figure out if a song like Make Art Not Friends has kind of a like upbeat little like shuffly bop to it, or if it's like horrendously depressing, because if you listen to the way that it sounds versus the things that he's saying, there's this weird incongruity to it. Like I love the chorus on this song. Face in the mirror's all skin and bones, bloodshot eyes and a heart of stone. Never again, rather be alone. Think I'm gonna just stay home and make art, not friends. It's like a brutally depressing line, but at the same time, it's not like delivered in a depressing way. It's like very honest. It's just like, this is what I have to show for trying to please everybody. And I think I'd rather just do my own thing and follow my creative instinct rather than try to, let my soul be sucked away doing what I'm supposed to do to have the career that I'm supposed to have. I'm way more interested in my own potential, not living up to this like idea that's been created for me. And that I think is what makes this album so exciting. It really is like the electric current that drives all of this. And you end up getting all of these like incredible musical moments, musical flourishes, really, really like fun, subtle melodies, really great hooky riffs. He's able to like do a lot, having thrown off the chains of, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of room to explore, and we end up getting like, I would say the heaviest thing he's done. Like there's heaviness on Mutiny After Midnight, but it's like a velvet bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
This was more like a ball from it's a wrecking ball dropped on your nuts.
So Sound and Fury, and you can, I feel like you can travel along with me on this one. Sound and Fury is heavy in the same way that like Led Zeppelin was heavy. And
that's fair.
Mutiny After Midnight was heavy in the same way like Cheap Trick was heavy.
I don't know. I gotta think about that one. I
think if you dive a little bit further into Cheap Trick, I think you'll see what I mean. Other than just like the mama's all right, daddy's all right, they're just a little weird. Like, and also, obviously, I Want You to Want Me. Like, just think of it. Like, go further into the Cheap Trick, the like like pick one of the albums that was famous and listen to some of those songs. You hear what I'm saying.
You know the other Cheap Trick that I know? The Dream Police, they're going out of my head.
Yeah. So there was a lot more. It felt like Mutiny After Midnight was like a lighter record. Like the Sound and Fury sounded like he was trying to get some demons out. And I think it was a big FU to the industry. Specifically, he says in the same, the song you just read the chorus of, the second verse, I love saying no to all the yes men just to see the look on their face. Like, just he says it very explicitly that this is a middle finger to them, that he's going to do it the way he wants. And also do want to point out that the drummer on this album is that Miles Beller. So the one that came back for Mutiny After Midnight So the kind of the most vital sounding Sturgill albums, or I guess Johnny Blue Skies as well, have Miles Miller on the drums. Like there is a special sauce that he like adds into there that I think drives things along with a lot more pace than he's had with other people on the Skins there.
Yeah, and again, it's interesting because you go from Sailor's Guide to Earth, where it's just this like murderer's row of kind of soul musicians and horn players, and you got steel guitar and electric guitar, and this is such a sea change from that like not a lot of other personnel carried over. And I think in many ways this is where Sturge found out like what his values are in terms of what you need to rock. And I think he realized it's a strong core, like he's now built as JBS. We've seen with the Dark Clouds. It's very interesting to watch him play and experiment and learn in real time, because this isn't like a perfect album. There's aspects of it that like I would say Mutiny After Midnight is far looser. Mutiny After Midnight is honey and Sound and Fury is metal. So like Mutiny After Midnight I think is like loose by dint of what it is, where it was like built off of improvisation and recorded live. And I love that. I love the little like, perfectly imperfect element to it. But like there are moments in Sound and Fury that are just like clunky and they're loud and not like they're overproduced in the sense that it's just like a wall. It's like a metal wall. But it's not bad and it's not a detriment. It's just him seeing how far he can take the concept before you kind of hit a point of diminishing returns. And so like you need to hear what the audience needs to hear what that sounds like too. So it's polished, it's well done, it's not sloppy, but it's definitely, it wears its imperfections on its sleeve in a very interesting way that enhances the whole thing.
Yeah, it's for me. This is now. I don't know that I don't know if there's a Sturgill album that I could ever say I like more than the others, because like they're all. It really just depends on your mood. It's we talked about on the Doja Cat episode. Like she wears a lot of hats, like Sturgill does too. I think his ability to back off and give that shine to the other members of the band, I think, is what allows him to feel more free creatively. Like he doesn't have to fully be the one driving the bus. Maybe as far as like just getting something done in the first place, he's the one driving that bus. But I think the idea that he's letting these other musicians, like this is a Sturgill Simpson album, but it's like a lot of the credit goes to the guys playing it along with him. I think there is an urgency that he creates with this, and I think that urgency maybe leads to some of those imperfections. Leads to some of that feeling clunky, because it's just like it's got to keep moving, and sometimes like you can't keep up that pace the whole time. I think that is an issue that he runs into a little bit on this one, but it doesn't stop this from being a 10 out of 10 for me.
This is a 10 out of 10. I get to cheat mercifully and say that my favorite JBS is Mutiny After Midnight. Short roster so far, but like Passage is tremendous. Mutiny After Midnight is just like gold, Jerry. So I can cheat and say that's my favorite JBS.
It depends what you want out of an album, though, because those two albums are so very different from each other. That's why he's so good.
They are. Yes, exactly. That's what's so good and so interesting. As different as everything he's done is, I don't know, Sound and Fury might be my favorite. And it's like the least typical Sturge in terms of like every other thing that he's done. Like, High Top Mountain, Dude and Juanita probably have like the close, and Metamodern, like the most DNA in common. And then they share some with Sailor's Guide, but Sailor's Guide also has seeds of what's coming with Sound and Fury and what's coming with Passage and Sailor's Guide have the same DNA. Nothing quite matches up with. It's so unique in the catalog. Like you can see seeds for where Mutiny After Midnight was going to go, but even still, like this was like big dystopian, like synth Black Sabbath. It's so strange. It's such a strange album. It's a strange album for Sturgill Simpson to drop on this run. So I don't know. It for that reason, it might be my favorite. Sailor's Guard is so fucking excellent.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
so
what's tough for me is between those two for sure.
yeah, maybe a 1A way 1B type situation. But Sound and Fury is just like, if you've been following us on our other Sturge videos here, you probably already love it. And if you haven't gotten around to this one yet, do it. It's a
Yeah.
double 10 out of 10.
Yeah, this is a lot of people's favorite Sturgill album for sure.
Yeah, it's fucking impeccable.
Well, folks, we have so enjoyed talking about these Sturgill albums, and look for more to come because there's a couple more that we have that we did not get to on this podcast since they came around before it existed. We've been around a while. Sturge has been around longer, if you can imagine that. But Alex, where can they find the other ones we've done so far?
Well, you know, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've done everything at this point but High Top Mountain, right?
And Medal of Honor.
Oh, we haven't done Meta Modern, have we? Well, shuck them up, folks. Your day just got bigger, badder, and better.
Technically, the second Cut and Grass album, I think we didn't do, but I don't know that really counts as something missed.
We did we miss it though, or did we do it?
I don't remember. I know we did at least one of them.
We did volume 1. I swear we went completionist with it. It just seems to be our way.
Yeah.
It really is like the level of quality, and maybe I'm totally wrong and overselling how professional we are, but
we always go to completion.
We finish to completion every single time. Do not worry about that. No, I like to think that we bring a real a sorely needed professionalism to the music critique space on YouTube.
Yeah.
Our particular little piece of the ecosystem is youtube.com/C/out on that line. Folks, we really do try to keep it as simple as possible for you here. We want this to be accessible. We want this to be fun. We don't want to scare you away with scary numbers and things that are going to overwhelm you. We're here to cradle you and comfort you and give you a little bit of guidance. And you're learning to ride the bike and we're holding you. And you say, don't let go, don't let go. But eventually you're going to look and we're not going to be there anymore. And you're going to be cruising. And you're not going to get hit by a mail truck. And you're not going to flop over and scrape your knee. And you're not going to take out an old woman and her poodle. It's not going to happen because you're going to trust in us at youtube.com/C/out on that line, where you need to subscribe. You need to click the bell to get notifications when we drop a new video. You need to hit the thumbs up to like the video. Very helpful. Very nice. And you need to, most importantly, leave a comment. Comment section on the channel is officially popping off. Let's keep this momentum going, okay? You were quiet in the Mitski. You were quiet in the Gorillas. You're loud as hell in the Afro Man and most of the Sturge. We need you to bring that energy and enthusiasm into everything that we do, because everything we do it for you. And that's a guarantee from, as Jeff likes to say, the Canadian Britney Spears. We'll be doing that episode at some point, and you can find it at youtube.com/C/out on that line. And we're also now on Spotify too, as well.
Yes, on Spotify. Yes, too.
Correct.
And yes. And recently I just had to let Marla know, wife of the pod, just how important Bryan Adams is. So we should probably do a little bit of like an on the record, maybe do a selection of songs. We get Tanner involved in that too, because I can imagine that man loves him some Bryan Adams.
It's got to happen. We're manifesting it.
Yeah, let's manifest it together, folks. Until next time.